What's up, y'all? Just catching some sun. You see how it is? Nah, man. I'm just out here. Today I just wanted to talk about every single house and their correlation to the human body so that we can be more practical about it and understand it a little bit easier. So, the first house in the whole zodiac is associated with the head. And actually, this is actually easier to understand if you know every single individual sign, from Aries to Pisces. Those signs from the top to bottom tell you what the houses consist of and what life area it is about, like what type of things you go through in that house. Depending on the sign that you have in the house is going to be the element that is most dominant in which you experience that type of energy signature, that type of action in a way. So the first house is Aries, the personal mask, your personality, what you wear to go outside into the world. Basically, it's basically like it's your individual self in a way. You know what I mean? It's the one. You become one and you go out to the world with that mask on, even though it's not really a mask, but you can make it whatever you want. Astrology doesn't have to be limited. The second house is the house of Taurus, which is all about values, resources, just things in that nature that have to do with what you use to gain stability in that type of nature. Anything that you invest into, like material possessions is something that is in the second house, and it is ruled by Taurus. And Taurus is all about that stability and what makes them practically stable, that makes them feel like they don't have to worry about this physical realm too much. You know what I mean? So for example, for me, I have Aries in the second house of Taurus. So this makes me a little bit paranoid sometimes when it comes to money and financial things in that nature. I can be very impulsive when it comes to the things that I value, like food. Tauruses love food. Like anything that has to do with consuming is a Taurus thing, actually, in my opinion. So if you know a Taurus personally, then you can tell what the second house is, because they kind of carry that energy with them. And if I have Aries in that manner, I have to watch out for overindulging into what I value, which can be knowledge, can be food, it can be people, it can be circumstances, it can be video games, which I used to be into, dramatically in depth into. And that's something that I like, I lost my word. Mercury and Cancer type things, I mean? Sometimes you just lose the fucking word, but yeah, I can't find it anymore. But we gonna move to the third house because I might find it again. So the third house is the house of Gemini, communication, space, other people, what happens in your individual space, or public spaces, anywhere that in the world that has to do with like space in general, where you'll find things to communicate about, showcase things about, use your communication skills, anything that has to do with the vocal cords. And it's also like connected to the second house, so that goes right into Gemini, you know what I mean? Yeah, so in my third house, I literally have Gemini. So basically, the third house can be your room, the room that you stay in, your bedroom. Anything that you choose to put on your walls, how you choose to decorate your environment, your atmosphere, how you choose to set it up, is all third house type shit. You know what I mean? It's space, but it's also communication. So it's also the people that are within that space that you communicate with and exchange dialogue with, whatever it is that you talk about. The fourth house, I forgot to tell you about the organs. Yeah, that's true. So Aries was the head, Taurus is the throat. The third house is gonna be like around, like Taurus is like here, but Gemini is also like around here. And then you'll have like Cancer in the heart space, you know? And then you'll have Leo in the solar plexus area, because it's your will, it's the sun energy. So anything that has to do with like going forward with that force, you know, that will, anything that makes you go for your desires is going to have to do with the solar plexus, which is the fifth house, which is Leo. And it can also be entertainment, because obviously we have to entertain what it is that we value to push forward into our goals and imaginations, right, in this realm, to make it come into physical reality. And then the sixth house has to do with Virgo, which is over here, right under the solar plexus, you know, intestines, anything that has to do with health, organization, order, systemic behavior, you know, keeping things organized. That's all Virgo energy. Very precise, very detailed, intricate, you know, intricacy in detail, you know, because your intestines are very delicate, you know, organs in general. Like, they need to be cleansed for them to work properly. And they have the most like intricate, besides the heart, way of working with each other, like with all its other cells, you know. So that is the sixth house, Virgo. Seventh house is the house of Libra, partnerships. So this also has to do with like a little bit lower than the abdomen, almost like where it's the sexual organs. And this is the house, like I said, of relating to others, you know, going out in the world and being of service to others, you know, helping others, making others feel like they have a place in this world, relating with people on what we've gone through in our life and things like that nature. Things like that. That's all Libra qualities. You know, they'll do anything, they'll put everything aside just to make sure that everyone is okay around them. And that's a quality that we need more in this world of. But they can also learn from Aries, their polar opposite, to be more individual before giving themselves away. Eighth house has to do with Scorpio. Scorpio energy is the genitals and the anus and the area of that nature. So they, obviously all that has to do with death, sex, rebirth, aggression, deep transformations. It actually rules Pluto, which is why, you know, we do our number 2s from that area. We shit from that area, you know. So, and Pluto is the last planet in the solar system before you leave the galaxy itself. So that tells you right there that, you know, we are a solar system within us in general. And Pluto is the like planet where you exit, boom, and then you're gone out of this solar, right? But yeah, like I said, it has to do with, you know, sex, deep transformation, aggression, rebirth, and all that good stuff that we all need to accept in order to transform and change, you know, within ourselves to make this place a goddamn better place, because it's goddamn too chaotic. I don't like that shit. But yeah, ninth house has to do with Sagittarius, which are the thigh areas. Actually, I just remembered, Gemini itself is the shoulders. I almost got fucked up, yo. I almost forgot an organ. Y'all can bash me all y'all want. It's cool though. But yeah, the ninth house is the thighs, Sagittarius. So obviously the Sagittarius archetype is represented by the centaur. So we always see, you know, men, half horse. That has to do with like power in the legs, power in the determination to get to where you want to go with the experience. And you arch, you have a bow and arrow, and you arch and you shoot your shot and you follow that shot with the willpower of those legs that keep you moving. You know what I mean? It's the house of higher education. Pursuing higher education, meaning philosophy, going deeper behind what is known, you know, the behind the scenes of things that we don't necessarily know about. That can be anything though, you know. Sag is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter likes to expand on literally anything, and it can be bad or good. It just wants you to experience. It just wants to push you out there and do your thing. Really, like that's all it wants. On everything though. Like the planets are beings of themselves. Like you can talk to them, you can ask them, you can talk to them like they're your sisters and brothers, because they really are. They're out here experiencing this shit with you. You know, they're going through shifts of themselves on their own. But you know, since they're on a higher density level, on a higher octave than we are, like outside of this vessel, like outside of the organ, instead of being in the organ with us, they're outside, so they have more influence and more judgment over what's being played out here in this dimension. So they kind of influence the rotational pole around this movie that we're in. So the 10th house are the knees, the kneecaps, which are represented by Capricorn. Interestingly, it rhymes, you know what I mean? But that ain't no coincidence. So your knee areas, this is Saturn type energy. You know, Saturn literally like is the structure and boundaries and restrictions that keep shit holding up. It's kind of like the foundation of a building. If there's no foundation, nothing can be built, you know? And Capricorn, you know, they make sure that everything is perfectly in place before they can forge something to be perfect and then balanced. And your knees, you know, are perfectly shaped and balanced and structured to make sure that they uphold you and you're able to walk and change your angles. And they literally calibrate every single movement, and they never change. It's hard for them to change because it's rock solid. It's hard muscle, not hard muscle, but hard bone. You know what I mean? And it is the house of status, because, you know, anything that's rocked in place is just there to be. You know, it doesn't necessarily need to change. It doesn't see a need to change because it's already holding up something. Why does it need to change if it's already holding up something? You know, like, it's the thing that's holding everything in place. What the fuck do you mean I need to change? You know, like, what do you mean I need to care more? I'm the one holding you up. You know what I mean? That's Capricorn energy. They don't like to be ruled because they're the ones that are holding this shit together in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's the bedrock of everything. So when it comes to status, Capricorn loves to look good. It loves to make itself look flossy. It loves to take care of itself. It loves to be the boss of its own self and individuality. You know what I mean? They just love to shine, yo. And they have the right to shine because they do really take care of themselves. But the only thing that they could learn, which is their polar opposite, which is Cancer, would be to care more. Be more in tune with the water instead of being rocked and resistant against it, you know, which is part of life, to change and evolve. And we can all learn from that, especially me, since I'm a Capricorn South Node, which is what you bring from your past life, what you are present in the present moment right now. And then you have a North Node, which is the life situations and circumstances that you will be going through, so that you can be more vulnerable and change and experience what you've never experienced. You know, something that can be very beneficial for your soul evolution, so that you may pass on to the next step, you know, the next best experience for you, whether good or bad. You know what I mean? So Capricorn is a very cardinal sign and initiates new things. I will talk about cardinal and fixed signs and mutable signs in another video, but I really wanted to talk about, you know, all just the houses and the signs and what they correlate with on the human body level, because then it's just more easier to understand for people that are like, okay, this shit, you can't even ground it to reality, it's just a concept. But really, no, they literally make, you know, everything from, you know, the brains and and veins and arteries and fucking circulatory organs in our system. Like, those are all made from what we see in the sky, you know? Like, everything is a reflection. I feel like that needs to be understood. Like, even the earth itself, like, the moon is the earth's reflection. Like, this realm that we're on, the moon is just a reflection. You can't actually land on it. That's a lie. That's gonna be tough to swallow for a lot of people, because like, we've been brainwashed to believe that we have to watch TV and allow them to teach us what we think we can't do because it's physically restricted for a human to go anywhere, which is true. But we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to go internally, where it's subconscious. You know, there's a yin yang for everything. Yin is to go internally and fly and experience the subconscious realm, the astral realm, you know, other light bodies, other forms. The yang realm is to experience what you've been feeling in the yin realm, to bring it externally and experience and create your own reality out of what you just experienced in the yin realm. You know what I mean? So don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't do a certain thing just because you are in a physical vessel. You know, that's confinement. We never want to be confined, especially in an age like this. This is all about freedom. And we are in Sagittarius season, so we are entering a period where we all want to be free. Okay, now I was moving into the 11th house. The 11th house has to deal with, you know, the calf muscles, anything that has to do with lower than the kneecap, you know, all that calf muscle, like leg, all that type of energy. That's Aquarius energy. That is the house of Aquarius. And 11 is a master number. So these people are very good at being tuned into the subconscious realm of life, the behind the scenes of life. These guys are masters at what they do, even if they don't even realize that they are. Because they have one and then another parallel one that kind of makes them be able to see both sides of reality, yang and yin, both at the same time. So they get to peep game on like a literal simultaneous level, like on an instant level. And if they're not aware of this yet, they'll become aware sooner or later, because they're masters. You know what I mean? They're here to help. They're humanitarians at heart. Aquarius is the humanitarian. They're here to, you know, they're the water bears. So they carry their emotions on the side just so that they don't get consumed by their desires and emotions, because they know better. You know what I mean? They're close to the end of the cycle of the wheel, so they have a lot of wise wisdom, you know? So they prefer to carry it on the side instead of getting lost in something that they feel could threaten the way that their mind state is currently in, since they're an air sign. And they don't necessarily care about their body like that. That's air signs 101, you know what I mean? So yeah, and Aquarius is very eccentric. It's ruled by the planet Uranus, and Uranus is like that thunder energy. It's electric, it's static, it appears like it's a flash. It's so quick that you can't miss it. It's loud, it's colorful, it's so intricately detailed, and it's like it's something you've never seen before. You know? When you look up in the sky and after raining or while it's raining and you see thunder, you're like, wow, that was so like, what the fuck? I kind of want to see it again. You know, like it's so, you don't see that every day. That's Uranus. That's Uranus energy. Like, it's changeable. It always changes. And it is evolution. It is change. It never wants to be the same. It always wants to be changed. It always wants to be unique and different. That's Uranus on a literal level. That's what it is, you know what I mean? Now, the 12th house, which is Pisces. Pisces, 12th house is all the subconscious realm. I feel like it's kind of like the astral realm in a way, because it's your water. It's a water house. So it's literally like the subconscious patterns that we have to get into, in tune with, to understand on a deeper level. And if we don't really dive into our own water like that in the 12th house, which is Pisces, we won't really understand why we're here. The 12th house is our dreams. So if you don't really go and analyze what your dream is based on and why you have this dream, and kind of swim all around it and see what's the root of this, because it's 12th house, so it has to do with like past life as well, and you know what your spirit has been through. If you don't swim in that water and feel it out, you might get lost. And Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter literally is all about, like I said, wanting you to expand on whatever level that you want to expand on. You know, it just wants to throw you out in the world so that you can experience and have fun. But you know, Pisces is also ruled by Neptune. Neptune is dreams and imagination. So imagine Jupiter throwing you into an imagination just like that, just so you can experience your own imagination. That can be scary, but it can also be very beneficial. But if you don't know, you know, what it consists of, you might get lost, only to find yourself though. Because we only get lost to find ourselves. There's a yin yang to everything. Once you go low, you go very high. And if you go very high, you go very low. It's just part of life, and there's nothing to fear about that. I mean, we incarnated in these bodies for a reason, right? If we weren't ready, we wouldn't have been here in the first place. Like, in my opinion, it's that simple. We came here because we knew we were gonna go through some fucking shit. But it is our responsibility to detach ourselves. Because the only thing that's keeping us here is attachment, baby. So yeah, the 12th house is all dreams and imagination and subconscious patterns and things that build up your dream in a way. So it's very important to understand what it consists of. So those were all 1 to 12 houses. I feel like it'd be better if I made a video of all the signs and their abilities. Which one are cardinals, which one are fixed, which ones are mutable, which ones are yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna make a video about that. I'm gonna make a video about each and every single sign and which planet they're ruled by. And yeah, and then I'll give you guys this knowledge so that y'all can use it for yourselves. You know, figure this shit out for yourselves, because it's important to really, like, I'm telling y'all, this is amazing knowledge, because like this is the time to really know what the fuck is going on. Like, we're shifting into a new age, new world, and it's important to know that we are walking solar systems. That way you can fit in your own personal individual keyhole and be happy with yourself, with whatever you are that you represent, whatever it is that you are. You know, you can be anything because we're nothing. We can literally be anything because we're literally nothing. No thing, not even nothing. We're literally no thing though. Isn't that fun and more amazing and soothing to hear that it's okay to be no thing? It's okay to be nothing. Doesn't that make you happy in a way? It's like, but at the same time, you know, you are a goddess and a god inside this human vessel. So cherish that. Love it. Because why would you send your vessel down here if you're not going to love it completely? You know what I mean?